fellow artists, where we are going to talk about how we're going to finish up our sugar skull. Now remember, if the sugar skull made you uncomfortable or you didn't want to do it and you wanted to do a mask instead, you could certainly do that. Masks are celebrated around the world on every continent, probably not the South Pole because nobody really lives there. So we have symmetry, which means it's the same on both sides. If you take a look at my example, the skull itself is symmetrical. We have symmetrical teeth, symmetrical eyes, symmetrical hearts for the nose. Then we have asymmetrical background around the outside. And asymmetry is not the same on both sides. So then we have the flowers creating a diagonal composition and the butterflies. All right. So there we have that. Today you're going to be learning a new technique. So we need markers, we need your project from last week, a little smidgen of water, and brushes. Now I have two different sizes here. I'll probably be using the smaller one most of the time, but we'll just kind of wait and see how it goes. Don't worry, this is not a perfect way to paint, but it is another way to use our markers to paint. So don't feel like you have to stay exactly in the lines, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about as I go. Now, some of the colors I'm not going to want to use would be the neutrals, black and gray. I'm going to take those out completely. I might outline with black later on. Probably not though, since I have the black crayon. I'm also going to take brown out just because it's not a look I'm going for. I want high color, high color, high color. So I'm going to take that one out. Now you can come up with a color scheme if you like. I am going to leave it wide open though, so you can either do all warm colors, cold colors, tertiary colors, whatever you want. I'm going to just kind of jump in myself. I'm going to go with my favorite color, which is a form of pink. I like rose a lot. Now with this technique, I'm simply going to do a dot in the middle. So you're going to either do dots or you're going to outline things. And then I take my paintbrush, I get it a little wet, not soaking, touch the side, remember no 5-finger octopus, and then I apply it in the center. And you'll see it just starts taking that color and moving it around. So when you compare the two, they look a little different because I'm taking that excess color and moving it. Remember how I said this is not a perfect medium? Well, that's okay because it still works out. Now from there, I would like to go with a yellow. I'm going to try this out first. I don't know if this is yellow I'm really looking for. Ugh, I don't like that one. That intensity is not right for me. So I'm going to move that one in the no pile and go with this yellow. Now I'm going to go right around the outside edge on this eye first. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water. And round we go. Now, while that's wet, I'm going to go ahead and do this one. Notice how I move my paper. Going to go right around the edge and then take my water. This technique is not very difficult at all. And as 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, you'll find that it's very, very easy. Now moving on. Please consider that there are 2 ways to use the marker. You have the flat side to get a big wide area, and then you have the point for the dots or the thinner areas. So I'm going to go a little wider there and then thin it out as I go around. Then I'm going to add my water again. This is not a technique where you are making sure every bit has the same amount of color. You are playing with the intensity of your color so that it is more transparent in some areas than in others. So there's a very subtle difference between the two. So you basically apply the water to the marker and go. Now what I probably should have done there was I probably should have done one eye at a time. Now if I wanted a little more, then all I would have to do is add in just a smidgen more on the wet surface and then go ahead and revamp that in. So that adds it a little more. Just a smidgen. Now when it comes to filling in with color, it's not going to be completely symmetrical. I usually start from the inside and go out. Up to you what you do. Now from here, I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to speed up the video and you'll see the end product as I'm just working away like crazy. Okay, but you get the basic technique. I can use a variety of dots. I can use a variety of colors and different techniques. On this one, I'm going to go around the outside edge. And occasionally, I might just want to fill in an entire area. I really like how this looks. I personally will not be doing the skull itself. I like to leave them white. I would rather do more in the background so that the white pops up and has more contrast. That's a personal preference. So I could leave this like this, or I could add the water. All right, girl. Well, please introduce yourself to my friend Snow. She's looking like she's going to become part of the artwork today. And that'll work out just fine because she likes to be involved. On this one, I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in. I think that works out pretty well. All right, boys and girls. So I would call this finished for today. I kind of like it this way. You could continue adding more layers if you wanted. You can go with marker on top of the wet paper. You can do more marker on top of the dry paper, kind of like what I did with the eyes there. It does blend fairly well. So you'll notice some colors do better than other colors, but overall, you definitely get the idea of symmetrical. Here's our line of symmetry. So our eyes, nose, and mouth, and the skull itself is pretty much symmetrical. And then we did some diagonal or cross composition. Strong, heavy diagonal composition this way, and then a lighter one this way with a heavier being here on the right. I think it was really quite a nice success for Dia de los Muertos. It celebrates our Latino community. Please excuse my Spanish because I'm not very good at it. Although I do have some people teaching me at school. I'm trying real hard. So all in all, I think it works out. You do you. You do what works for you. And I'm sorry about the brief interruptions of snow. You've met Snow in the past, and apparently she's a recurring theme in our art projects. So have a great week and enjoy your art. See you next time. Bye-bye.